Hello and welcome back to the Dandelion Diaries. Today we have a new pen. This is the Ferris Wheel Press brush fountain pen, and this is in the Majestic Maple colorway. This is their newest release as of August 2023. This is what the box looks like. It has beautiful foiling. It comes, inside like this. It does have a little push. You can push either way. It is a 14 karat gold plated nib, so it's not solid gold, but it does have a gold appearance when the pen is uncapped. So this is how it comes. And it has this beautiful, almost like velvety feeling sleeve, and it's pretty snug up close. This is what it looks like. It has a tiny maple leaf on it and Ferris Wheel Press on the back, and it says fall in love with writing again, and I think that's really nice. This is a nice touch, especially since there is no pen loop on this pen. So let's set the box up here. This is what the pen looks like. It is just a standard kind of beigey color. Honestly, it's almost the color of my skin, so that should kind of give you a good hint. It's a pretty light colored Caucasian-y color. It does have this beautiful brass nut, which is their signature on their bottles and on most of their pens, I believe. The Carousel pens do not have this. It is also a metal body, and it has a satin finish. When you unscrew the pen, this is what the nib looks like. I did get it in a medium nib just because I prefer the medium nibs on the Ferris Wheel Press pens. If you wanted to post it, you could, although I don't know if I would recommend posting this pen just because it might damage the satin finish on the back. But it also works very well unposted as well, and does have the shape of a paintbrush, which is what the whole point of this pen is. Let's do a turn test. So I'm going to hold this one. So 1, 2, 3. So almost, 3 turns basically, and then it's finally open. So quite a bit of turns. I'm going to zoom you guys in and we'll take a closer look at this nib. So this nib has some very beautiful fine detailing on it. I believe they are all carved. It is brass, so it will patina over time, and instead of the nib size being on the actual nib itself, it's on the grip section, which I think is really interesting. But that's what that looks like. Let's go ahead and do some pen comparisons. Here is what it looks like next to a Leonardo Memento, a 𝗦𝗵ecie𝗺𝗆, a 𝗦𝘂𝗵𝕋 Eco, a Pilot Metropolitan, and then here is a Sailor Compass. So if we uncapped these, uncapped, the brush pen is about the same length as a Metropolitan, just slightly longer. Other than that, it is actually a pretty long pen towards the back. It's even, I think, as long as a 𝗦𝘂𝗽. So it is quite a long pen. I wouldn't necessarily call it a large pen just because it isn't very thick in the barrel, but it is a longer pen. So maybe you could classify it in the medium to large range, just in length alone. One thing I will note is that it doesn't roll because of that nut. So if you were worried about it rolling away since it didn't have a pen clip, it should not be a problem. All right, I'm not going to ink the pen up fully, but I will show you the filling mechanism. So every pen comes with a cartridge, or a converter, excuse me. This unscrews, and it is metal on metal, which is really nice. So if you're worried about overturning, this is what the converter looks like. It is a pull converter, you don't screw. And then it does have a small spring inside it, so when you're filling it up, the spring would move back and forth to keep the ink kind of turned around in there. So if you were to put one of these shimmer inks that Ferris Wheel Press is so famous for, it would likely keep that shimmer nice and stirred up for you. It also says rat-a-tat-tat on the converter itself, which I believe is part of the Ferris wheel press history from their carnival type of theme that they typically have for all of their products. Like I said, I'm not going to be filling this up, but I will go ahead and do a dipped pen test. So I'm going to dip this into some Aurora black ink here, and I will test it out on some paper and compare it to some other medium-sized nibs as well. All right, so this is the Ferris wheel press. Brush pen in Majestic Maple. And it has a medium nib that is 14K plated. And this is inked with Aurora black. So pretty standard medium nib in my opinion, nothing super broad about it or fine even. I will go ahead and compare it to the Pilot Metropolitan medium. I'm going to compare it to a 𝗦𝘂𝗽 Fine. Which we all know that 𝗦𝘂𝗽s tend to be a little bit more bold than the standard size. I will also compare it to a Platinum Preppy medium. And finally, a Sailor Compass, and this is medium fine. Overall, I would say that the Ferris wheel press brush pen is definitely your standard medium size. It writes true to size. Nothing super crazy about its nib. As for the writing experience itself, I would say it's pretty average. Since it's gold plated, it's not, I don't know, it's not bouncy, it's not super exciting to write with compared to something like a true gold nib like the Pilot Vanishing Point, or even something like a Sailor Pro Gear or something like that. So I would say it's kind of expensive for what you're getting, but it is a beautiful pen. It is very seamless, very sleek, very minimalist. I do like the look of it quite a lot. It does match the other pens that I have in my collection pretty well, and I like that it does have the potential to patina over time. I think that is a really cool feature with brass pens that I tend to like, is that I can see how well loved the pen was, and I can always refurbish it back to its former glory if I needed to. That's all I have for the Ferris wheel press Majestic Maple. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. I will definitely be inking this up soon in one of my coming months, just so I can give it the full respect that it deserves and give it plenty of practice in writing. Once again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.